CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Evan Kenny.
That leaves huge open opportunities in this race.
Council no-shows. Edmonton's mayoral race is heating up after council's infill housing debate. Good evening. City Council may be on summer break, but certain councillors can't escape the political heat. The lead up to the pause in proceedings at City Hall was contentious as a fall election looms. As CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports, recent events have one front-runner for mayor on the defensive.
The lead up to council's summer break put a spotlight on City Hall. More than 100 Edmontonians showed up for a public hearing on infill housing, a crowd one political watcher believes was motivated by a pledge from mayoral candidate Tim Cartmel to pause mid-block infill projects.
It is not permitted under the Municipal Government Act, and we learned after the fact that city staff did send him a memo to that effect well in advance of him making the motion. So that does reek of sort of rank politics.
Eventually, council did make major changes to infill rules, but those votes happened July 8th. A couple of days into the scheduled summer break. One motion to cut the mid-block infill maximum from 8 units to 6 failed by one vote.
This was a rare opportunity for this reduction on infill to occur. And it needs the Conservative bloc to pass. Two members of the Conservative bloc, Sarah Hamilton and Tim Cartmel, opted not to show up.
Councillor Michael Jans made that motion. He's been hearing about its failure on the campaign trail.
I was at a house that had a Neighbours United sign, and they were really mad that Cartmel didn't show up.
Some candidates running under Cartmel's Better Edmonton banner also wanted to see the unit reduction approved. Nicholas Rubottom is a past executive of an infill advocacy group, telling CTV News, "I saw it as a necessary step to build trust with residents while ensuring that infill continues in a way that respects neighborhood character." Cartmel's campaign manager confirms the councillor is unavailable for comment, but Alex Haritsu says Better Edmonton candidates are encouraged to speak their mind, adding municipal parties were not designed to have whipped votes or party lines. Still, Pavlik believes the leader's missteps on infill have opened the door for challengers.
At the very least, you have a bunch of disenfranchised Tim Cartmel voters who are saying, I want someone who will actually stand up for something, and that leaves huge open opportunities in this race.
Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
An Edmonton area woman is calling on police and the province to issue public safety alerts about the tainted drug supply on Edmonton streets. Her son died from carfentanil earlier this year. CTV's Nicole Lampa has more.
Karen Cadu says her 42-year-old son, Stephen Klein's drug addiction began 20 years ago after his dad died from cancer and brother was killed at a house party.
I just found it too much, and so began his journey.
Cadu says Stephen used crystal meth and found a way to recover. He joined the Navy and went to university, but then COVID hit and the isolation became too much. Cadu says he died from an overdose in March. She believes Stephen would not have used that day had he known it was laced with a substance 100 times stronger than fentanyl.
There was carfentanil in his drug, and that's a death sentence.
In March, 87 opioid-related deaths were recorded in the Edmonton area, the most since 2016 when the province began tracking them. The figure is up dramatically compared to the other health regions in Alberta. It's also higher than Lower Mainland BC's figure from the same month, which includes both Vancouver and Fraser Valley, with triple the population size. The province or police are unable to explain why more carfentanil deaths are happening in the Edmonton area. The press secretary for Alberta's Minister of Mental Health and Addiction says the ministry is concerned by the increase in carfentanil-related deaths in Edmonton. The illegal drug market fluctuates, and we cannot predict specific changes in a given market or target one substance specifically. A family doctor who treats people with drug addiction says many factors are behind the tainted street drug supply. She says encampment sweeps can cause users to lose contact with suppliers they know, while large drug busts may force dealers to bring in something new, and she expects carfentanil deaths in Edmonton to rise even more.
The sirens are going off a lot, and certainly I've seen zero abatement of that trend.
Edmonton police say they've issued alerts about carfentanil dating back to 10 years ago.
We do put out public awareness of the unique stuff that we're seeing. Carfentanil has been around for a number of times, and there has been information pushed out about it.
Me and 86 other families are grieving since March. That's a crisis. I've never seen a notice about it. I've never seen an emergency report about this contaminated drug supply. We need to do better.
April's data on opioid deaths is expected to be released in about a month. Nicole Lampa, CTV News, Edmonton.
Alberta and Ottawa are spending millions of dollars on new affordable housing units across the province. More than $200 million will go towards 25 projects that include more than 2,300 units. Some of the money earmarked for Edmonton will be used on housing for young adults and students living downtown. Alberta's Assisted Living and Social Services Minister says that money will help Alberta reach its goal of creating 82,000 affordable units by 2031.
This investment is critical to ensuring that low-income individuals in our province have access to safe, quality housing to be able to make sure that they can live their best lives in the province of Alberta.
The Federal Prairie's Economic Development Minister says the agreement will also create jobs as the projects get underway. The U.S. president is again threatening to hit Canada with 35% tariffs beginning next month. Even as that looms over the economy, Alberta is seeing some resiliency. Unemployment fell in June. Statistics Canada says the national unemployment rate is 6.9%. Alberta's is 6.8%. ATP's chief economist says it's one of the few times our province has bested the national rate since 2016. Alberta added 30,000 new jobs last month. Most are in the information, culture, recreation, and manufacturing sectors. Experts say it remains to be seen if momentum will continue.
Especially with the latest, U.S. tariff announcement of 35% tariffs on non-CUSMA compliant goods coming from Canada into the United States. We'll have to see if that shows up in our economy, or if we see that the Canadian economy is more resilient than we thought.
Stats Canada says young people are still struggling to find work. The unemployment rate for people aged 15 to 24 held steady at 14.2%. It looks like many Canadians are digging in their heels when it comes to staying away from U.S. products. According to data from Nanos Research, most Canadians view their boycotts on U.S. goods and travel as temporary. Nearly half of the respondents say they'll outlast the Trump White House. The Canadians were surveyed on issues ranging from trade war to automotive tariffs and defense spending. 2 great horned owls are being nursed back to health in Edmonton. As CTV's Amanda Anderson reports, staff at Wild North have seen an increase in the number of owls needing care this year.
The great horned owl is known as one of the best predators in the animal kingdom, a reputation this guy can't quite live up to at the moment. It's believed the owl was hit by a car.
I think owls, with their ability to turn their heads almost all the way around, would see a car coming. But unfortunately for these guys, their eyes are fixed in their sockets, so they don't have peripheral vision like we do, and this is why they turn that head around. So these guys are focused on a mouse on the other side of the road. They're coming down at it. They can't see the cars coming from either direction.
Can we just cover it for a second, if that's okay? Just we want to help reduce stress.
The owl suffered an eye injury and required a bone pinning surgery on its wing.
Where we repaired the humerus, which is a long bone in the wing of the owl, was severely fractured, and so we do a bone pin to stabilize the fracture with an external fixator.
The pin was recently removed and the owl on cage rest at Wild North. Today, it was fitted for a new tail guard to prevent damage to its tail feathers.
Because generally, if you picture an owl out in the wild, they're going to be on a branch. Their tail feathers are hanging kind of below the branch. They're not running on the ground, of course. And so with these guys in their enclosures, we want to put that tail guard on to protect their tail feathers.
This young owl is also at Wild North because of a skin condition. So far this year, 15 great horned owls have needed help from rehabilitation staff, almost double the number last year.
Mostly, the population of owls directly correlates to the food source, and so we have more mice, we're going to have more owls. We've had a huge influx of rodent population in 2024, and as we get more hares and larger prey species that these guys like to eat, we're going to see more great horned owls.
This owl still needs help eating, but staff say he's getting better every day. Eventually, it will get moved to an enclosure like this one, where it can gradually build up its wing muscles.
Pinning a wing like this is always a dicey endeavor. We have to monitor them. They have to go through a rehabilitation process. We have to ensure that they can fly and hunt perfectly before being released released back into the wild.
Given the owl's progress so far, there's optimism it will eventually be able to be released. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Parts of K-Country are under a bear warning after a hiker encountered a grizzly that gave a clear warning to back off. Alberta Parks says the bear bluff charged at the hiker Tuesday on the Bill Milne Trail between Wedge Pond and Mount Allen Drive. The bear warning is in effect until further notice. People heading to the mountains this weekend should know buffalo berry season has started. That means it's important to make lots of noise on trails so you don't surprise a bear that's feasting. Hiking in groups is recommended. Pets need to stay on leash, and you should bring bear spray that you know how to use. After years with the Edmonton Oilers, the skating coach is joining the Dallas Stars. David Pelletier spent 11 years with the Oilers. He worked with the players to increase their skating performance and help with their off-ice training. Prior to that, he was a highly decorated figure skater, winning several championships, including the gold medal at the 2002 Winter Olympics. His new role will be an assistant coach with the Stars, but he will not work from the bench. He'll be in the press box instead. He joins Glenn Gullickson's coaching staff. And the Oilers will be down a Skinner next season. Jeff Skinner has signed a one-year deal worth $3 million with the San Jose Sharks. Last season, the 33-year-old scored 16 goals and 29 points for the Oilers. He added 2 points in 5 playoff games. Now, over 15 seasons and more than 1,000 career games, Skinner has scored 699 points. Food entrepreneurs in Edmonton have a new space to showcase their brands. It's a rotating food hub on White Avenue. CTV's Merrick DeCash explains how it works.
Peter Keith is the brains behind the hub on White.
We've created a platform for food entrepreneurs to host pop-ups, to test drive their business, to operate on shorter-term flexible basis rather than signing their own lease.
Keith owns Muley's on 124th Street and has regularly offered pop-up opportunities to smaller businesses. Today marks opening day for his new experiment.
Restaurants are very expensive to open. Food entrepreneurs need to raise a lot of money and make a pretty long-term commitment to have their own place, to have their own location. So the hub is meant to help bridge that gap.
The goal is to offer a helping hand to food entrepreneurs so they can eventually open their own location.
We will be pretty flexible on how we work with companies. So some people might want to do this for a month. Some people might want to do it for 6 months. We've had talks with people who want to do a one-weekend pop-up. So our goal is to make it easy for them, make it accessible, and kind of meet people where they're at.
2 restaurants are currently using the space.
For sure until the end of August, so it might be a little bit limited thing, but hoping we can also maybe continue into the fall.
Beb's Bagels has been bouncing around from kitchen to kitchen over the past few years. They're excited to have somewhat of a home base for the summer.
It's pretty hard to be a small business and especially a restaurant, and taking on the responsibility of a brick and mortar is very daunting. So having this shared space in such a great location for a business like Beb's Bagels is pretty incredible and a rare opportunity, so we had to take it.
Ballet Coffee and Beb's Bagels experienced a busy first day on White Avenue.
It's places where they might not always have the ability to be out in the public, coming to, be to the public.
As of now, there's no timeline for turnover at the hub, but Keith says there has been lots of interest. Merrick DeCash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton's annual White Avenue Art Walk is back this weekend for its 30th year. 460 artists have registered for this year's event. The Art Walk showcases the artists' processes, materials, and inspiration behind their pieces as they create art right on site. It spans from McIntyre Park to 109th Street.
The beauty of Art Walk is just to go for a walk and discover the artists that are here and, see what catches your eye, have a chat with the artist, get to know them.
The White Avenue Art Walk is one of the oldest, largest, and longest running art walks in Alberta. Coming up next, what message healthcare workers in Red Deer are sending the province. Also just ahead, warnings about a new scam hitting Canadians.
Some of the messages may include some of your personal information as an extra way to try to convince you that it's a legitimate message, right?
Good evening, folks. Sunny, warm, and a little gusty to start the weekend. We'll see some increased cloud cover, it looks like Sunday, with a chance of some showers, especially early in the morning. More on that and the rest of your 5 and 10-day forecast in just a few minutes.
There's a new warning about scam text messages, which may be popping up on more phones. Here's CTV's John Venavali-Rao on so-called smishing attacks.
The latest warning comes from the Competition Bureau, which says more people have been seeing those annoying scam texts pop up, claiming to be from agencies like Revenue Canada, or that you owe money for a toll highway, often including a link that scammers are trying to get you to click on. Janine Compton recently got one claiming she was caught speeding and had to pay a fine, and initially thought it might be real.
I almost got taken, but I didn't click on the link. I don't know what would have happened if I clicked on the link. I did not click. I just blocked the number.
Compton was the target of a scam known as SMS phishing or smishing. The texts often claimed to be from an actual organization or business. And while they used to contain things like spelling errors, making them easier to spot, AI services like ChatGPT are making them harder to detect.
Spelling mistakes used to be a tell, particularly when people had to write these messages themselves, and often it was people who didn't necessarily speak English as their first language.
The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre warns AI can also allow messages to be sent out at a faster rate, and warns scammers are using AI to scrape information about you from the internet.
Some of the messages may include some of your personal information as an extra way to try to convince you that it's a legitimate message, right?
The advice: never click on suspicious links, ignore texts even if asked to reply with stop or no, and forward spam text to 7726 or spam. And of course, delete them to avoid accidental interaction.
But as AI technology continues to improve, more people may fall victim, which is why the Anti-Fraud Centre and others want everyone to remain vigilant. John Venavali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Healthcare workers in Red Deer are sending a message to the provincial government over negotiations. More than 70 people attended the rally outside of the Red Deer Regional Hospital to support the Alberta Union of Provincial Employees. The AUPE represents nearly 60,000 healthcare workers across the province. Proposals have been put forward to AHS to address wages, staffing levels, and workloads. AUPE says AHS has made no effort to advance negotiations.
It's very frustrating when one party wants to sit at the bargaining table and negotiate a fair collective agreement and the other party won't take part in those talks.
AUPE says it's still working on an essential services agreement that allows workers to legally strike if necessary. Alberta's finance minister says he can't comment on bargaining, but believes AUPE has slowed the process by failing to put forward proposals based on market comparisons or other settlements. One person is in serious condition in hospital after a helicopter crash near Lacombe on Sunday. The Transportation Safety Board says the helicopter took off near Panther River, traveling to an airstrip in Lacombe County. It was in the air for about 45 minutes before it crash landed. A 54-year-old woman from Benalto died, and a 63-year-old pilot suffered life-threatening injuries.
Aviation is a safe mode of transportation. Each accident is really unique, which is why it's important for us to look at all the circumstances of the event.
The TSB says the investigation is in its early stages and new information may not be available for a couple of months. Edmonton has recorded one new measles case, but Calgary has seen its biggest increase in measles cases since outbreaks began in March. There are 17 new cases in Alberta, with 8 of them in Calgary. Infectious disease experts have warned big summer gatherings like Stampede could turn into super spreader events. Anyone not fully vaccinated is advised to skip large events or to be very cautious if attending. Health experts say more people have become sick due to a salmonella outbreak in salami, and most of them are in Alberta. The Public Health Agency of Canada now says 2 more people have been hospitalized due to tainted Ray brand Genoa salami sweet, Ray brand Genoa salami hot, and Bona brand mild Genova salami. A total of 84 people have gotten sick. 67 of them are in Alberta. One additional illness is someone from BC who got sick after traveling to Alberta. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency recalled the products on June 10th.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Welcome back. Couple of degrees above average today, and I think we'll be in the same ballpark tomorrow, about 26 or 27 for a daytime high. You get this cloud cover, some scattered showers moving through parts of central and north central Alberta and across the north through the overnight period. That rain will stick around into tomorrow morning in and around Fort McMurray, but look at how quickly the cloud clears out. So we're mainly sunny right through the day tomorrow here in Edmonton. Further north, the rain breaks down, but a chance of a few scattered showers, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm in the northeast tomorrow afternoon. Sunday, early in the morning, this is 4 a.m., some more showers for the northeast and possibly some showers here from Edmonton off to the west. That spreads east as we head through the morning hours. This is 8 a.m. Sunday, so from Edmonton off towards Lloydminster, south towards Red Deer, chance of showers. But pretty quickly that drops off to the southeast. And so for the latter half of the morning and through the afternoon, you're just looking at partly cloudy to a mix of sun and cloud here in Edmonton. A couple scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms off to the west. I've put a slight risk of an evening shower in the forecast for Edmonton, but it really looks like probably all of that slides southeast towards Red Deer as opposed to coming through the Edmonton area. 13 degrees in Fort McMurray, 13 in Grand Prairie, and 13 in Red Deer tomorrow morning. About 16 or 17 for Edmonton and areas off to the east and to the north. Low 20s in Fort McMurray with that rain, especially early in the day. Mid-20s, though, further to the south. Low to mid-20s across the northwest tomorrow, and mid-20s for Jasper, Red Deer, and off into east central Alberta. Again, sunny with a few clouds. Wind will be gusting to about 40 kilometers per hour, but warm on Saturday. Sunday, it's not going to rain all day, but in the morning, especially early in the morning, about a 60% chance of showers and then a 30% chance in the evening. Monday, cloudy with a few sunny breaks. I think we'll probably see at least a couple scattered showers in the area. It doesn't look like it's going to rain all day, though, Monday. A little cooler back into the low 20s for Monday, Tuesday, and then mid to upper 20s returns for the middle to the end of next week. That is your forecast.
A spontaneous moment at the Calgary Stampede is capturing hearts online. A Calgary couple was caught on camera dancing in the rain, unbeknownst to them. CTV's Mark Villani has more on how their two-step is spreading joy well beyond the Midway.
Caught in a Stampede downpour, Benjamin McMurray and Sarah McDougall couldn't help but dance. Outside Nashville North last Sunday, the music kept going, and so did they. Their two-step through the puddles, filmed by a stranger, both of them completely unaware.
Nothing clears out a dance floor like a good rainstorm, so it actually worked out perfectly. We had lots of room to dance and just kind of practice our moves.
It was spontaneous. We were already out there, it was coming down, and I think I said we should dance in that puddle, and so we just started doing it.
I like how your hair dips into the water too. That was funny.
The video has now been viewed more than 800,000 times, some calling it the perfect Stampede love story.
That's wild because I didn't expect that at all. I had no idea that was going to happen, but I keep seeing the views go up and up and up. It's crazy.
Believe it or not, this is actually our first rodeo.
The pair has only been together just a couple months after meeting through friends on a trip to Ghost Lake. Some of their first memories together, riding Ben's motorbike.
She was crazy enough to jump on the back of the Harley and come out with me. So after I threw her in the lake and she wasn't sick of me then, so we just kind of kept seeing each other.
Their story and their spirit now striking a chord with people far beyond the fairgrounds.
And I love that everybody dresses country and gets out and everyone's in a good mood and people are dancing and it's a really good time. I always enjoy it.
And for this couple, it's not just about music or moments, it's about who you share them with.
life is not always purely sunshine, so if you can find those people that are willing to dance through the rain with you, keep those people around.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
All right, well, the last weekend to go dancing at the Stampede is right now. That's all the time we have. Thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your night.